Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi tayyibin wa tahirin wa ashabihi al-ghurul mayamin wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Today we are going to look at contract between Islamic banks and their customers. We are going to use this scenario. For example, a customer sees a property he wants to own. He then approaches the Islamic bank for the Islamic bank to buy the commodity to be sold to him or her. The Islamic bank now looks at the request of the customer and then negotiates the selling price, the duration of installment, the mode of payment, and other important conditions and securities. The Islamic bank then buys the property and resells it to the customer. Now, there is an important element we have to look at. Here, the Islamic bank is acting as a trader and not as a financier, because trading involves buying and selling, profit and loss, whilst financing involves usury and interest. In other words, Islamic banks involved in buying and selling, that is trade, whilst conventional banks involve financing, which is usury and interest. And as we all know, Islamic banks try at all costs to run away from usury and interest, as the Quran says in chapter 2, verse 275. Bismillah, wa ahallallahu al-bay'a wa harrama al-riba. And Allah has permitted trade and has forbidden interest. Now, let's look at some important conditions for this sale between the customer and the Islamic bank to be valid. 1. The Islamic bank must own and possess the property or commodity prior to reselling it to the customer. 2. The Islamic bank must carry the risk of loss before delivering the property to the customer. 3. The Islamic bank must bear the consequences of rejection of the goods by the customer if the customer finds out that the Islamic bank concealed a defect in the property. 4. If there is a promise between the two parties, that is the Islamic bank and the customer, the promise is morally binding on both parties. But when the Islamic bank goes ahead to buy the property, the promise now becomes legally binding on both parties. And lastly, 5. The Islamic bank will not buy the property if the customer has not promised to buy it from the bank. And Allah knows best. Like, comment, and share for more Islamic finance knowledge and video series. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.